the strength of thy Holy Spirit, grant us a willingness to place service above personal gain and to respect our obligations of justice in our positions as members of the Council of the Town of Essex.
Amen. Welcome, everyone. I'll now declare the meeting open this evening. And everyone hear me at the back? Good? Okay, thank you very much. Looking for any conflicts of interest amongst the council members? None? Thank you very much. Looking for the adoption of the published agenda for September the 16th, regular council agenda. Councillor Vokes, Councillor Bowman, any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Adoption of the minutes of the September the 3rd regular council meeting. Councillor Vokes, Councillor Bondi, any questions? With the question, Councillor Bondi.
Thank you. Through you, Your Worship, to administration. Following the September 3rd meeting, there were several questions that arose out of the council discussions regarding the Captain's Gallery restaurant. Just wondering if there is an update.
Ms. Russ.
Through you, Mr. Worship. Certainly at that meeting, the resolutions R130942 stated that a request be made to the Captain's Gallery restaurant for proof of insurance as per the lease agreement to be returned or to be reported to the town by 4:30 p.m. on September 4th, 2013, if it is not currently on file. Donna Hunter and I of the administration met with Ken Schwab and Lonnie Cady on September 4th at 8 a.m. at the harbor area. This meeting was arranged for previously to discuss the restaurant and other matters. At that meeting, administration requested Mr. Schwab about the status of insurance, and it's my understanding that by close of business that day or shortly thereafter, proof was on record with the town's offices. He did comply with that request. We also spoke to Mr. Schwab and Mr. Cady about the storage of equipment and structural alterations. Arrangements have been made with Mr. Schwab and through Mr. John Olson of our town staff. A number of pieces of equipment that were stored by Mr. Schwab have been recently returned to the security of the town. We also made inquiry regarding the, as far as structural alterations, we do have a record of structural alterations, and we've secured that and made sure that those are up to date. It's my understanding administration can report on that in the next while to ensure that the records are in fact accurate. We've also made inquiry of the AGCO respecting the question raised about the consumption of alcohol on the premises, and I understand we do not as of yet have a response from AGCO on that particular regard. I think those were the questions that were asked of the administration at that time.
Any further, Sherry? That's it. Okay. Councillor Baker.
So just for clarity on that question, on a couple of the questions, did we always have a copy of the insurance on file? Through you?
Mrs. Hunter? Right on top, Donna.
The yes/no button.
Okay, through you, Your Worship. I did not have a copy in my file, but I wasn't the person that had developed the lease agreement, and I'm not sure where that file is at this point, but no, I did not have a copy on file prior to.
So can we clarify, had there been insurance in place all along, since inception?
Through you, Your Worship, Mr. Schwab provided the insurance policy for the last 3 years.
And is that the extent of the lease so
That's
far?
correct. That's
so my
correct.
question is, had we had insurance from day one?
Yes, we have.
But we didn't have a copy of it?
I didn't have a copy. It may have been in another file, but I didn't have it in my
Okay,
file.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And my second question then, just for clarity on this, with regards to the equipment that was previously in the facility, can you correct me if I'm wrong, was it our understanding that we as an administration, with regards to that lease, asked for that storage, for those pieces of equipment to be stored on behalf of the town? Through your worship, maybe to Russ, whoever can ask that.
That's my understanding, is that the equipment was stored in a secure storage. Mr. Schwab expressed to administration that he was paying a monthly fee for that, and he was happy to release it back to our care. Only certain pieces were released back to us. However, the lease that's entered into with the Captain's Gallery Restaurant and the leaseholders indicates that none of that equipment had to be. It was leased to them as a part of the overall lease, so the equipment really should have stayed with the premise, but he's agreed to remit it back to the town.
Thank you. So our staff then assisted in returning that or removing it on site?
Mr. Olson has made arrangements. It's in storage now. Certain pieces are in storage in Colchester.
Thank you. No further questions.
Councilor Rhodes?
Thank you, Your Worship. At the last meeting, I had asked that we have a meeting, and I'm encouraging council administration to support, even if that has to be done through a motion, to have a meeting with council, with the proponents of that restaurant, and get a baseline understanding as to where we are with them. And I'm not saying administration doesn't know where we are with them. First of all, I'd like to certainly hear it myself as to where we are with it, and I don't see any harm or any foul why they won't meet with us. So once again, I'm going to ask that administration set up a meeting with Candy Fielder and with Mr. Schwab to discuss which are the two signings on the lease agreement, to have discussions with council about what they're doing with the restaurant, what we can do to help them get the restaurant open, or even afford them opportunity to get out of that restaurant if they want to do that. Because there's a lot of things administration can do, but they can't do without the endorsement of council to expedite things along. So once again, I'm asking that we have the opportunity to meet with them collectively as administration and the council. If I got to make that a motion to do that, I'll do that.
Okay, Russ?
If I might, in reply to the councillor's position on that, it's administration's intent to have a further meeting with the proponents, with the leaseholders. When we met with Mr. Schwab and Mr. Cady, there were other items on the agenda. It was not, as I said, the meeting had been previously arranged for prior to council's resolution the night previous. So it was a matter of discussing and finding out some of the things that they wanted to discuss, and certainly I came away from that meeting with a more fuller understanding of their ideas regarding the restaurant, and I think it would be advantageous for us to sit down collectively, and I think there would be a willingness on their part to do that. That can be arranged for. I apologize, last week I was away on vacation, but we will arrange for that in the near future.
And again, I ask that Mrs. Fielder be there and Ken Schwab. If Mr. Cady wants to attend, that's fine, but I certainly, if something was to happen moving forward, I want to make sure that everybody's involved who signed onto that agreement.
Through you, Mr. Worship, both Mr. Schwab and Mr. Cady indicated that Mrs. Fielder should be approached, and they showed no resistance in making contact with her. They gave me contact information. I just haven't followed up on that.
Thank you.
Okay, we have three public presentations this evening. The first one being Youth and Family Resource Network of Essex County, Jenna Foley, the Executive Director. So Jenna, welcome.
Hi. Good evening, members of council, administration, and Mr. Phillips. It's nice to finally meet you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present in front of you again. I'm pleased this evening to provide an update on both Harrow Youth Center activities and Youth and Family Resource Network programming overall. It's been a very busy year for us, and we're excited to share all of our news with the town of Essex. As you know, the Harrow Youth Center went through a period of pretty serious upheaval in early 2013. We lost our location and faced losing our ministry funding at the same time. Although we were outwardly optimistic, the truth is that we came very close to having to shut the doors on the Harrow Youth Center permanently. Luckily, we were approached by the Harrow Oddfellows about sharing space in their building at 18 Queen Street. Then we were awarded a grant from Green Shield Canada to provide program stability. And finally, we heard word that there was an additional 3 years of funding available from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport for our after-school program. We quickly went from doomsday to a very promising future and look forward to supporting the needs of Harrow community residents for years to come. Programming at the Harrow Youth Centre is now back in full swing. In July and August, we offered a full-day summer camp for 59 children in conjunction with the Windsor-Essex Catholic District School Board and opened for fall programming right after Labor Day. The Harrow Youth Centre is hosting an open house this Wednesday, September 18th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. for parents or anyone in the community who's interested in learning more about the programs that we offer and our new site. We currently have 43 children participating in our after-school program and also have Girls World, Game Time, Performance Group, monthly dances, Home Safe, and babysitter safety courses being offered this fall. The support of the town of Essex has been instrumental in maintaining our programming presence in Harrow. Thanks to the town, we were able to provide all of our services with moves to and from 4 different locations in the last year with a very minimal disruption for parents and youth. Without your support, this period of transition really could have been a disaster, and so we sincerely thank you for helping us remain a vibrant part of the community. And while I have your attention, I'd also like to take this opportunity to tell you about other YFRN programs that impact the town of Essex. We continue to offer our Thrive and Youth Transitional Support programs, offering advocacy and assistance for people who are experiencing homelessness or facing a housing emergency. The demand for these programs continues to grow, and we've already supported 196 individuals from January 2013 through August of this year. Our Voice program, which offers youth leadership development, will be offering Harrow-specific monthly meetings this year to meet the demand. Last year, the program culminated with a self-esteem overnight camp retreat at Camp Henry on Point Peely with overwhelmingly positive results. Also, our community garden continues to deliver free organic produce around the county to families in need, and excess produce is donated to area food banks, including the Essex Community Food Bank. The garden has already harvested more than 1,700 pounds of produce this year, with much more to come. And our Bike Smart program has expanded this year to offer a family cycling program called Bike Safe. Regular cycling activities and group rides for kids of all ages are held at our Kingsville location, but everyone in the region is encouraged to join our Around the County Challenge. Youth and families are encouraged to sign up and challenge themselves to cycle 200 kilometers, which is the approximate circumference of Essex County, in order to promote physical activity, family engagement, and win great prizes. And lastly, I just want to let you know about some exciting changes that are coming for YFRN. On November 7th, we'll be unveiling an all-new agency name and logo. Over the past several years, as the agency has grown and really broadened the scope of our services, we've outgrown our former identity and are ready for the next phase in our tradition of meeting community needs. You can expect to receive a formal save the date and invitation in the coming weeks, but we hope you'll all join us at that day, and it will be at the Essex Arena, so it should be convenient, for an exciting launch to learn more about all of the programs that we provide. So at this time, I just thank you again for allowing me to speak with you this evening, for your support of our programs, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions by the councils? Councillor Baker?
Thank you, through your worship. Just to Donna, what was our total amount for grant that we are providing to the Family Youth Resource Network?
You can just give me a minute. I'll just
Yes,
look
sure.
for it.
And maybe Janet knows this.
It's $12,800.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anything further? Well, Jenna,
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank
Keep
you.
looking after those kids. Motion to receive the reports and the financials also. Councillor Baker and Councillor Bowman, any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Our next delegation is Ruth Ann Hickey, Woodview Estates Partner, street names for Phase 2 of the Woodview Estates. Oh. Welcome,
Good
sir.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've been asked to be a substitute. So, my name is Charlie Hickey.
I'm one of the owners of the Burston Hickey subdivision, which is immediately north of the property right here. And we've been developing it for about 15 years. We've owned it for about 40 years. And we're into a new extension of 24 lots. And that involves putting in about 4 streets. The request tonight is for council to name the streets in the manner in which we've requested. Over the years, it's been a tradition and practice of most municipalities to name streets after the owners and developers. In this situation, we have 4 streets, and we'd like them to be named Morton and Dolores and Ruth and Charles. That's after the Burston family and the Hickey family who've been developing it. That's about it, unless there's any questions.
Questions from council? Okay, I have Councillor Vokes first, and then Councillor Bondi and Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll obviously start the discussions on this particular file tonight. I know some of the councillors and some of the administration who are aware of, currently as we speak right now, we all know and sitting here, there's a bylaw that is written that talks to when we develop properties, when we develop areas that the intent would be is to name them obviously after that of our veterans. And I don't think anybody here would not acknowledge and not respect our veterans, and I certainly want to go on the record for that. In saying that, I have several family members of my own who served in France, who served in the war. So with that being said, the bylaw, in reviewing of the bylaw does afford us as a council, afford us opportunity to deviate a bit from the writing and the understanding of that bylaw. It does afford us opportunity to have streets named in honor or in justice, I guess, of people such as the Bernstein Hickey in their development over the years, respectfully to them, has brought in millions and millions of dollars of development. It's brought in millions and millions and millions of dollars of tax revenue over the years. And I certainly don't think, and again, in respect to all our veterans, I don't think we'd be doing any justice to such a renowned developer by not respecting such a small request. With that being said, also council needs to understand there's streets that have been named outside of the veteran perimeters beyond the understanding of that bylaw, and one of them would be Kimball, one of them would be Miller Way, I believe it is, and they were beyond and after we established the bylaw. So with that being said, I'm encouraging council to support the recommendation or the request for these 4 names moving forward, please, and thank you.
Thank you. My question is to administration. If we were to deviate from the bylaw, how would we have to do that? Create a whole new bylaw?
Through your worship, no. Item number 3 in bylaw number 601, which is a bylaw to establish a procedure for the naming of highways within the corporation. Upon request from an interested party, council at its discretion may deviate from the names listed in the schedules A and B attached and accept a name that has some regional or other significance. So it's up to council. They do not need to pass another bylaw.
Okay. The last time developers came to us and suggested this, I kind of felt for them because they are investing a lot of time and money, and I agree with Councillor Vokes that I support the recommendation. And with the street names Ruth, Morton, Charles, and Dolores, I especially like Morton, by the way. I don't think we have a Morton Street yet, but I'm anxious to hear what the rest of council has to say.
Councillor Scott?
Thank you, Your Worship. I guess some of my questions were just answered. What is our policy about veterans and what exemptions do we have? That was explained. I think it's a reasonable request, and I'll support it.
Deputy Mayor Milosh and Councillor Bowman.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have no issue with this. I would have preferred one of the names of the streets to be Richard, but that's okay with me.
Sir Richard.
Yes, Sir Richard. But just looking at the names, I probably, and I'm sure administration would think of doing this, but just to be sure that we don't have any conflicts with names of streets already within the community. But I'm totally in favor of this idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bowman.
Sorry. The bylaw was originally brought up because council was getting inundated with requests to name streets, and we didn't have any process of doing it, so the idea of naming veterans came forward. But the idea of that, if you want to call it loophole or whatever, the third peg there that allows council to deviate from the norm to go other names, was strictly for this reason, that if somebody comes forward with a presentation that they want to do it for a certain reason, they'd give the council the option of moving that way. So it's quite acceptable, and I'm certainly supportive of it. Morton's getting pretty close to Morley, so it's okay.
So Baker.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I'm not going to reiterate everything that has been said, but this doesn't deviate from the fact that we still are supporting our veterans. That is part of the process. But this bylaw was written so that we can take advantage of opportunities like this, and part number 3 says that we can deviate from it. And we're deviating from it for very important reasons, because these individuals, and like more we'll hear tonight, are investing in our community, and we have to really consider that that's very important. We still are honoring our veterans when the next names come up, but these people also should be honored for the amount of investment they put in our community, so I'll support it for that reason.
Thank you, sir. Before I get to Councillor Vokes to make a motion, I'll just have a couple comments. I don't know when we named the street Kimball, or if that gentleman was a veteran or not, but I do know that Max Miller Way, which runs alongside of our arena from Fairview to 23, Max Miller was a veteran. So, and for the same reasons that I'm going to support these names, you know, naming of the streets in this subdivision, he did immense work for this town. Like, if it wasn't for this town, we wouldn't have half the sports we do. And it's the same thing. Like, I'm glad Mort's going to get a street named after him. Most of us in Essex knew Mort. Great character, you know, like he was a great guy, did plenty for this municipality. So I'm going to be supportive of this also. Thank you. Councillor Vokes, you'd like to make a motion? Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much.
Ruth Ann?
Good night.
Thanks. Now, our third delegation is a beautiful young lady, Kara. I can recall you coming, I don't know how many months ago, but sure looking forward to hearing what you learned at the World Leadership Congress held in Chicago.
All right, thank you.
Oh, yes. Her presentation is on right in front of us, up there. Yeah. It'll hit the screen. And welcome, young lady.
I'm supposed to be the young one and know how to work this, but I don't. Alright, thank you. So I could just like push it. Alright, so I just wanted to come and thank you guys for your personal support and getting me to the World Leadership Congress. So I just decided to put a little presentation together to thank you. Okay, so every day we had a keynote speaker come and talk to us. So on the second day, Suela Amen came to speak to us. Suela Amen was featured on the television series on TLC called All American Muslim. She travels across country addressing religious, educational, and social organizations to promote awareness, tolerance, and understanding of the Islamic faith in Arab society. On day 3, the keynote speaker was Stephen Harville. He's the creator of Creative Ventures. Stephen and his team at Creative Ventures have helped some of the most respected companies realize their true capabilities through implementing pioneering methods and organizational dynamics and strategic thinking. Today, Stephen works with organizations of all sizes to help remove the boundaries and restrictive thinking that are pervasive across corporate America. And one of the things that I learned from him is if you don't capture your ideas, they're gone. After dinner on day 3, we all went back to the presentation room and had another keynote speaker come to talk to us. Ryan taught us the importance of positive attitude and focus in everyday life, being accepting to others and to be adventurous enough to try new things and discover our own gifts and talents. One thing I learned from Ryan was people judge themselves on what they can't do and not on what they can do. He also gave us 5 points on being a good leader, and they were to be positive, be open, be sincere, don't be exclusive, and have spirit. On day 6, CNN reporter Josh Lives came to speak to us. Josh is known to millions for his work on TV, radio, and online. He has been called Truth Seeker-in-Chief, Mr. Reality, and Senior Everything Correspondent. As a columnist and speaker, Josh shares his story of repeatedly achieving his dreams that many people told him were impossible. He shared the keys of finding inspiration, overcoming obstacles, and bringing dreams to life. He said, "Find the little opportunities and make them big." Ted Soldier, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, was actually a part of a panel on the second day called Technology Influences and Innovations. Ted is an 11-and-a-half-year veteran at Google and oversees the development of digital marketing strategies for some of the largest big box companies in the U.S. He did his whole presentation in Google Glasses and snapped a pic of all 432 of us by just saying the words, "Take picture." It was pretty cool. On day 2 and day 4, Dave Gramash came and shared Rachel's challenge with us. Dave has been working with Rachel's Challenge since 2007, traveling internationally, sharing Rachel's story with thousands of people. He presents Rachel's Challenge with a passion and conviction that is contagious to all those who learn about Rachel through him. I learned to be yourself. Okay. There were 432 ambassadors and 14 countries being represented. We were all separated into different groups so that we weren't with anyone from the same area as we were. My group was made up of people from China, Taiwan, South Korea, California, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Texas, Kentucky, Virginia, Indiana, and Arizona. We were also paired up with a roommate that wasn't from our country and that wasn't in our group. Mine was from Nebraska, and by the end of the week, she was wearing everything Canada. All 432 ambassadors were involved in 3 different volunteer projects. By the end of the day, we completed our over 1,500 volunteer hours. Okay, so Rachel's challenge. Rachel Joy Scott was the first victim shot at the Columbine High School shooting in 1999. She left behind a legacy of reaching out to those who are different, are bullied, or are new. Before her death, she wrote, "I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, then it will start a chain reaction of the same. People will never know how far a little kindness can go." From finding all Rachel's notes, her parents started a program that would go around to high schools with the idea of empowering the students and challenging them to take Rachel's challenge. Through the week at WLC, we were asked from our Hobie Daddy to come up with an idea to take back to our schools or community. I was truly inspired by Rachel's challenge in her story that I thought I would be her voice at Harrow High School and start a club implementing her ideas and challenge. So I just wanted to thank you all for your help in reaching my goal. WLC was an experience that I will never forget. So thank you again.
Well, to start it off, I'd just like to say how proud we all are of what you've accomplished, young lady, and I can imagine
Oh, thank you.
how your mother feels. Have someone as sharp as you are, and man, and you live in our municipality, so thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Councilor Baker?
Thank you, through your worship. Yeah, Kara, thank you very much. It was a great experience, I'm sure, and what you've provided us is wonderful. The other night, I'm going through my council notes, and my daughter was creeping me, and she seen out your name, and she recognized your name and said, that's how wonderful an individual you are. So I just want to ensure that when we look at, maybe I know there's been some talk about creating a mayor's youth advisory council, that Kara is considered.
I would love to.
Anyone else? Anything further? Okay. Councilor Bonnie?
I just want to thank you for following up and coming back and sharing with us your experience, because it's nice to see the story go full story. And I'm so proud of you, and I think this is really exciting. And this is the caliber of the Harrow High School students we have right here.
Thank you.
Kara, I want to thank you for coming tonight. Obviously, you probably didn't review our agenda tonight, but as a counselor myself tonight, I'm going to be talking to council about attending conferences, so I'm glad to see you bringing this back and submitting this to us. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Councilor Scott?
Well, seeing Randy brought that up, I made a commitment to come back to council and do a presentation, which I haven't done yet, so I appreciate the inspiration and motivation, because I am going to do that, and well done tonight. And you're certainly an asset to young people, not only in Harrow, but in our whole municipality and our region, so you're a great ambassador. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, looking for a motion to receive report. Councilor Baker and Deputy Mayor Malage. Questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.